Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa, and I'm calling from the Institute for Health and Healing, and I'll be leading you in a self-care practice today. The sessions I lead on Fridays have a general structure, which is I start with just a moment to ground and focus. And then I lead a longer visualization or mindfulness relaxation practice that generally lasts about 10 minutes. And then I have some final thoughts about how we can perhaps incorporate this practice or some of the ideas behind it into our day and its potential value. Understanding that this is the end of the week for many people and the end of the day, so I want to invite you to stay on as long as you're able and to recognize that it could be challenging to move from an active workspace to a space of calm. Our minds may want to seek to think about yesterday or what we'll be doing this weekend. So together we will work on the practice of being in the moment. And when our mind wanders, simply inviting you to label the wandering as wandering. So if I start to think about what will I do after this call, I notice it and say wandering and return back to the practice. So before we begin into the longer practice, I invite you just to take a moment to notice how it feels to sit in your chair. Just observe where your body makes contact with the chair. And now, without changing it, observing your breath. Noticing from a beginning of one breath where it goes, how it travels, and following it all the way to the exhale. So today we'll be doing work with loving kindness meditations. This might be something many of you are familiar with. It has its root in a Buddhist practice, however it can be adapted using your own values and beliefs. So the idea behind this is that I will be giving some example phrases that we'll repeat to ourselves. An example is, "May I be happy," and that we would repeat that phrase over and over. Again, noticing the mind won't want to wander, but bringing it back to the expression. So for instance, "May I be happy." And allowing ourselves to breathe during this practice. So I'll have 4 different expressions that I'll lead you through, giving you the expression and then some time to repeat it internally at your own pace and rhythm. And then we'll conclude with a little bit of breath work. So again, I invite you just to sit comfortably in your chair, sitting in a calm, alert fashion. Maybe straightening your spine a little bit so that breath may come easy in and out. If your shoulders are up by your neck, allowing them to gently fall down. Your feet perhaps planted on the floor. For your hands, I invite you to place them on your lap or knees with palms down, if what you're needing is a little bit more grounding today, or you can flip them over for palms up if you feel you're needing more willingness and openness. And so for right now, we'll take a nice inhale in through our nose, sending it to our bellies, and exhaling fully out. And again, inhaling in, and a nice full exhale from our mouth out. And the first expression that we'll be saying is, may I be peaceful. May I be peaceful. So for the next minute, I'll have the music playing, and I invite you just to say that at your own rate that you're needing, an own frequency and rhythm. May I be peaceful. Continuing to breathe. May I be peaceful. And the next phrase that we'll say is, may I love and accept myself just as I am. May I love and accept myself just as I am. So continuing to repeat that. If your mind wanders, refocusing on the expression, may I love and accept myself just as I am. May I love and accept myself just as I am. The next expression that we'll focus our mind on is, may I be free from suffering, from causing any suffering. Repeating this at your own rhythm and cadence inside. May I be free from suffering, from causing any suffering. May I be free from suffering, from causing any suffering. And the final expression, may I know that I am held safe and secure. May I know that I am held safe and secure. Repeating that expression with intention. Continuing to allow breath to flow effortlessly and easy. May I know that I am held safe and secure. And now I invite you to take a moment and again just check in with your body and notice if there's anywhere that you continue to hold tension. At the end of the week, we may be holding it in our neck and shoulders, our chest, or our stomachs. And this next breath that we take, I invite you to imagine it going to that area and softening that area and those muscles. So taking a nice inhale in, sending it to that area of tension, and exhaling fully out, allowing ourselves to let go of anything we don't need. And again, inhaling in, imagining that breath going to any area of tension. A nice full exhale out. And now, with our feet against the floor, really focusing on how it feels to make contact with the floor. Visiting each part of our foot, seeing if they're all each part making contact. And just allowing that sense of groundedness. From here, taking another nice deep breath in and out, allowing the breath with each wave to maybe get a little slower and more rhythmic, a little deeper. And now, if you could just stretch or move your body in whatever way feels comfortable, wiggling parts of your body to kind of awaken it. So that loving kindness meditation can be helpful in many ways. One thing we know is that the brain produces a lot of thoughts. It generates thoughts. And so sometimes it can be hard to move away from thoughts that are stressful or troubling, thoughts that keep us on high alert. And so having a mantra, an expression, a prayer, an affirmation, whatever fits for you that you focus on, can help redirect the mind into focusing attention. Kind of gives that part of our brain that wants to do languaging a little something to work with. It also helps us hold an intention. And when we focus on goodwill, when we focus on health, it helps our brain make a shift. Deconditioning the brain, helping it being more flexible. We have something called a negativity bias, that our brain is really wired to see problems. It's really wired to see what's not going right. And so I think of that as like maybe the bicep, right? And we got to also work our tricep, which would be this area of recognizing what's going well, or recognizing the intention of goodwill. And we want to practice the both and. Greeting the reality of what is, but also being able to meet it not just with a criticism, but also with these ideas of goodwill, compassion, and kindness. This in a way can also help us shift our brain, but also our mood. If I'm focused on something that's really stressful or uncomfortable, and my brain won't let it go, it tends to keep my mood stuck there. So this is a way we kind of invite that, although that might be true, what's distressing us, and we want to validate that and self-validate, hey, this aspect of my life is hard. We can also honor and acknowledge that other parts of life could be true too. In this practice, there's a technique that can be helpful. Sometimes starting with compassion for ourselves or these kind intentions for ourselves might be hard. And so sometimes we might actually practice putting these intentions towards someone who's been helpful or caring towards us. We can visualize them and say similar expressions. May they be peaceful. May they be free from suffering. We can also maybe imagine close friends, people we have great affection for, and sending these thoughts their way. May they have ease of mind and heart. May they love and accept themselves. And then we might extend the practice on to people that we would consider neutral, maybe someone we don't know well, maybe there's someone we see across the street, maybe someone that's helped us on a call we've never met, and we might even practice sending some thoughts their way. May they be happy. May they be free from suffering. And kind of the thing that we would hope to work up to is being able to also send these thoughts towards people that are difficult or challenging. I think it's an important thing that we might have to develop these other ways of practicing first that might feel more accessible in the beginning. We say practice because it's something that we try to practice on a day that might feel differently on different days, might have different challenges that greet us. And what we do know about the brain is that if we practice something multiple times for shorter periods, it tends to build a neural pathway that's more effective, as opposed to maybe doing this for a longer duration. Starting with short intervals of maybe practicing. Here we are practicing for about a minute in each phrase, and you could do it whatever worked in your schedule. Simply practicing saying a couple of chosen expressions, again, prayers, belief, quotes, whatever it may be that you want to focus on that has an intention of goodwill. And more as we practice those, and they show up for us when we're feeling stressed and we have access to them to help, again, soothe the brain, open it up, and make a shift. I appreciate everyone joining today, and I hope that you give yourself some credit for attending to this, for participating in a self-care activity. We're doing these sessions daily at 10, noon, and 4. It's the same practice on a given day. However, if a topic repeats itself, you may want to join again, because again, practice can really help us make it more accessible when we need it. I'm wishing everyone moments of calm and restoration over the weekend. I thank you for joining me, and take care.